Now the next point is exchange. What is exchange? Now what is exchange? Here when two persons mutually transfer the ownership of one thing for the ownership of other, neither thing nor the both thing being money only, the transaction is called an exchange. Exchange offer on products such as television, mobile phone, refrigerator are leviable under GST. Now, exchange is the mutually transfer of the ownership of one thing for the ownership of the other. Neither thing nor both thing being money only, the transaction is called exchange. For example, we are habituated to purchase mobile by exchanging our old set. At the time of making exchange of old set against the new set, the price of the new set is being decreased to some extent. Suppose the new cell phone, market price of the new cell phone cost rupees 20,000 and the exchange price of the old phone is rupees 3,000. So here net amount is payable to the dealer by the purchaser is rupees 17,000. Now on which amount GST is to be imposed? Here GST is to be imposed on the full value of rupees 20,000. The dealer will charge GST at the time of selling the cell phone on full value, not on the reduced price. On the other hand, the customer who is making exchange of old set, he is also making sell and receiving rupees 3,000 from the dealer. This is also to be taken as sale because property of the goods is transferred from one to another, and this is also leviable for GST. But the problem is that here the customer are not liable to pay GST because they are not the registered person under GST law. So here the price at which the old set is being exchanged, on this amount GST is to be payable by the dealer on reverse charge mechanism. Since the customer are not a registered person but are making sale of old set to the dealer, here the dealer is responsible for paying GST under reverse charge process. Now here the example is that Mr. A is a dealer of new phones. He supplied rupees 20,000 to Mr. B along with exchange of old phone. And if the price of the new phone without exchange is rupees 24,000, open market value of the new phone is rupees 24,000, Mr. A is liable to pay GST on rupees 24,000, that is on full value, not on the reduced price. Mr. B is also liable to pay GST on rupees 4,000 if he is a registered person. But if Mr. B, that is customer, is not a registered person, then that GST is to be paid by the purchaser, that means the dealer, on reverse charge mechanism. Another example is that Mr. X, a dealer of new car. He sells the new car of rupees 8,25,000, agree to reduce 1,25,000 on surrendering of the old car. So here, net amount payable by the purchaser is rupees 7 lakh only. But Mr. Y, who intends to buy the new car worth rupees 8,25,000, agree to exchange his old car with the new car. Now, though the purchaser has to pay only rupees 7 lakh, though the net price that is to be paid by the purchaser to Mr. X, that means seller, is rupees 7 lakh, but GST is to be imposed on the full value, that is on rupees 8,25,000. Now under GST law, it will be treated as Mr. Y is made supply of the old car to the dealer X, and Mr. X has made supply of new car to Mr. Y. Exchange is there. Here the Mr. Y, the customer, making sale of the old car to the dealer, and dealer making sale of the new car to Mr. Y. So there is a both way transaction, and here the dealer will impose GST on full value of rupees 8,25,000. On the other hand, the customer, that is Mr. Y, has making sale of the old car to the dealer, is also liable to pay GST on rupees 8,25,000, since is also there. If Mr. Y, a registered person, he will be liable to pay GST on rupees 1,25,000. Mr. X will be liable to pay GST on rupees 8,25,000, whether Mr. Y is registered person or not. Now the next point is that license. Now what is license? Where one person grant to another or to a definite number of other person a right to do or continue to do in or upon the movable property or immovable property of the grantor. The right is called a license. So what is license? Here, when one person grant to another or a definite number of the other person, that means a trust, etc. What is granted? A right to do or continue to do in or upon the movable property or immovable property of the grantor. Then this right is called license. So here the right of movable or immovable property is given by the right to use of movable property or immovable property is given by the grantor to a person or definite member of the number of the person, and by this right the person or the definite number of the person who are receiving this right are able to use this movable or immovable property. Then this agreement is called license. Such as Mr. X, a developer of information technology software, and hold the license there. Here Mr. X is the developer of the software and holder of the license. The license to the use software was given to the different client, rupees 18 lakh. Hence, Mr. X is liable to pay GST whether he transfers such right permanently or temporary, as the case may be. So, here the inventor of the software hold the license himself, but the right to use the software is being transferred to another person for rupees 18 lakh. This is the license that is being given by Mr. X to the client. Henceforth, the client will use this software for a specific period, and for which Mr. X receive a consideration of rupees 18 lakh. Now this is the license, and it covered under the subline. Since it covered under the subline, here Mr. X is liable to pay GST on the amount of rupees 18 lakh.